Hi everyone. This week's parsha is Parashat Ki Tavo, and at the beginning of the parsha we have a very famous section which you are probably most familiar with, if not from the parsha itself, but from your Passover Haggadah. We recite it during the Seder every year. This is actually in the context of the parsha that we read. It talks about the bringing of the first fruits by the Israelites. They bring the first fruits to the temple and they deliver it to the priest. And then they recite this formula. My father was a wandering Aramaean. He went down to Egypt with meager numbers and sojourned there. And later it says, the Lord freed us from Egypt by a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm and awesome power, and by signs and wonders. These words, as I say, are probably familiar from the Seder. As I read them this week, I was thinking about the balance between the individual and the community. The Torah doesn't instruct the farmer to bring his fruits and offer words of thanks in his own voice. It doesn't say, pick the words that are most meaningful to you. It says, here are the words that you say. It is a ritual. It's a ritualized moment, and the liturgy, so to speak, is given to the farmer. Each farmer said the same thing. Now, in our society where we value the individual to a very great extent, we are often trying to personalize things. You personalize your settings on your computer and on your phone, and in all sorts of other different ways. What the individual wants seems to be the most valued aspect of at least the consumer culture that we inhabit right now, and perhaps in other ways. And I would say that Jewish tradition, especially modern Jewish culture, has been impacted by that. And so the idea of expressing your own thoughts in prayer is highly valued. The truth is, that's one aspect of Jewish tradition that has often been valued. We want to add our own personal voice and our own personal thoughts to our prayers. However, the value of a liturgy, the value of saying the same words as the other people around you, the value of saying the same words as your ancestors, your parents and grandparents, and further back, is seen as a great value. The idea of resonance in the things that we do and in the words that we say is a Jewish value. I sometimes worry that by focusing on the individual so heavily, we sometimes lose the sense of richness and beauty that comes with the resonance of our words, the resonance of our actions. We've been talking about words because this is what the farmer did in the Parsha, but the same could be said about lighting Shabbat candles, or saying Kiddush, or building a sukkah. All of these things are things that have been done before. There are ways for us to personalize these experiences, and each one of us is a unique individual, and so our experience naturally flows into our actions. But there is also a value on the sense of a past in our current, in our present moment. And I think that what the farmer said as he brought his first fruits is a good example of that. And I think that if we tap into that spirit of connecting with what came before us, our own experience flows through those words and makes it both an act of tradition and of today. An act of not only the past and bringing the past forward, but of our own personal expression of our thanks. We don't bring a basket of fruit, basket of first fruits to the temple anymore. That ritual doesn't exist. But the spirit of that we can be part of the flow of Jewish peoplehood and the flow of Jewish history by doing things that have been done before, is an opportunity to bring ourselves into Jewish history, to join that flow of Jewish tradition as we perform these actions and as we say those words. So I hope that, especially at a time like this, as we get ready for the holidays, and so many of these actions which have been done before, practiced by our ancestors, will be in front of us as opportunities to perform. I hope that you'll be able to say them, and say them from your own heart, bringing your own individualism to something which comes from our past. And I hope that this coming Shabbat you'll have the opportunity to read the rest of Parashat Ki Tavo. And I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.